This is KFSM TV, Channel 5, Fort Smith.
Towers, the Pentagon, and tribe at Camp David. It has been a horrible day for America. New York City looks like a war zone. There's a gaping hole in the Pentagon, and among the terrorist targets, only Camp David seems to have escaped attack. Coming up in this half hour, we're going to show you how the 5 News viewing area responded to this day of infamy. But first, we begin with what happened.
Both 110-story towers of New York's World Trade Center collapsed after unknown terrorists attacked the buildings this morning. 2 aircraft, about 18 minutes apart, flew directly into the towers just as workers were arriving around 9 a.m. The second attack was captured on videotape, showing a large plane smashing into one of the 110-story skyscrapers. The building burst into flames, dropping debris all over the narrow streets of Lower Manhattan. Many are dead. Thousands are believed to be critically wounded. 50,000 people work in the World Trade Center.
I looked up and I saw the second plane hit. It had to be a commercial-sized airliner. What went through your mind? That it couldn't be real.
A short time later, when top portions of one of the towers collapsed, people on the ground were sent running for their lives.
Let's get out of here.
Officials stopped all flights across the nation. Both planes are believed to have been hijacked. All bridges and tunnels in New York have been closed, while security forces across the nation have been put on the highest alert.
CBS News quotes FBI sources as saying a total of 4 planes were hijacked, then intentionally crashed this morning. The latest one just 80 miles outside of Pittsburgh. Gretchen Carlson, CBS News, New York.
And we're now getting word that the Red Cross is wanting to help families who may have had family members either in the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center or in the Pentagon. If you would like to call your local Red Cross office, they will be able to get information for you on family members who may have been in those buildings. One of the things that people can do in our area is to donate blood. Collection centers in the 5 News viewing area have been packed all day. In Fort Smith, hundreds turned up at the United Blood Services to donate. So many, in fact, they were asked to come back later in the day, but the need for blood will be great, and donating for many people is a way of getting involved personally in this national tragedy.
I went home and saw the TV, and it said that they needed some donations, and I thought I'd come down.
And I've never donated blood before or anything, and it's devastation, pure devastation, and it's the time of need.
The Red Cross has an 800 number because it has so many people pouring out to donate blood that they cannot accept all of the people, so they will call you back. You need to call your 800 operator to find out the Red Cross 800 number. And all flights have been canceled, as you know, so the blood will have to be caravanned to those injured in this morning's attack. Visit 5 News website, 5 News Online, for more details on the nearest place to donate blood. If you do not have official business on a military base anywhere in the United States, you will not be getting in. Military officials and facilities in the area have been put on heightened alert. Camp Robinson in North Little Rock and Fort Chaffee are both usually open to the public, but today only people who worked on post or who had a valid reason to be on the base are being granted admission. A statement issued by the National Guard said that the measure was a precautionary one when they believe that a terrorist attack has occurred. Any vehicles granted access to the base may be randomly inspected for security purposes. Army tanks are blocking entrances to Fort Chaffee. The Air Force Base in Jacksonville has been put on the very highest possible alert. The 188th Air National Guard has also been put on the high alert. The base stepped up security this morning shortly after the World Trade Center was attacked. Personnel were called in, but the base did not say how many people have been activated. It also said telephone calls from the base were being limited to official phone calls only, and people trying to enter the base without proper credentials were turned away.
It just means that we're restricting our access to civilians and we're putting our people at higher alert for security.
The so far all of the F-16s at the base are still on the ground. They have not been called out to active duty. We're now getting word that CNN is reporting that there has been an attack on Kabul, Afghanistan. We do not know if that's the United States that has attacked Kabul. We'll have more on that tonight at 6. Well, shortly after the World Trade Center attacks, air traffic all over the country was grounded, and planes in the air were ordered to land at the nearest available airport. Air travel from both Fort Smith and the Northwest Arkansas Regional Airport has been canceled, and no planes will be allowed to fly until at least noon time tomorrow Eastern Time. That's all over the country. In Northwest Arkansas, only one plane was forced to land. It was a private jet, but a commercial airliner flying from St. Louis to Houston was diverted to Fort Smith. Airport officials say anybody planning a flight out of Northwest Arkansas or Fort Smith should call before heading to the terminal.
Now that they don't come, if they'll just keep an ear to the radio, an eye on the television, they'll make an announcement when the ground stop's been lifted. At that point, if they call their carrier or the carrier that their party's traveling on, they'll be able to give them some idea of the flight delays, flight cancellation.
Now, officials in Fort Smith and Northwest Arkansas say all of the morning flights that left their airports before the shutdown today have now landed safely, although maybe not at their destination. We're now going to show a video from CBS of the attack on Kabul in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan on short notice, pretty remarkable stuff. Now, what happened in Kabul, Afghanistan, and let me again emphasize that we're not at all certain of the information, is there were reports of explosions, reports of anti-aircraft fire. Again, we do not know whether any of this is connected with events in the United States today. Now, the Taliban.
That's Dan Rather reporting live about the attack in Kabul, Afghanistan, and as he says, we do not know if those were American attacks on the capital of Afghanistan or not. Closer to home, both nuclear power plants in Russellville, Arkansas, have also been placed on high alert today. Joining us now by phone is Phil Fisher. He is with Arkansas Nuclear 1 and Nuclear 2. Phil, thanks so much for joining us. Are you on some kind of alert, and if so, what kind?
Well, what our situation is we have instituted a heightened level of security awareness at all of our nuclear plants in the Northeast and in the South, which of course includes Arkansas Nuclear 1, and we're taking appropriate precautions in addition to that. Security measures constitute safeguards information, and for obvious reasons, we're not authorized to release this for public disclosure.
Well, let me ask you, are you still in operation? Are you still generating electricity nuclear?
Yes, we are still generating electricity at this time. We are continuing to staff our shifts. There was a rumor circulating earlier today that the plant site had been evacuated, but that was not the case, and we do not plan any such evacuation. We do plan to continue to operate both units until further notice.
Okay, and we understand that many parents in Russellville came to the schools today and brought their children home. And apparently there is a planning day tomorrow in Russellville, so schools will not be open, but this planning day was actually planned well in advance and has nothing to do with the terrorist attacks on the United States.
Okay.
Phil, thanks so much for joining us.
You're so welcome.
We appreciate it.
Okay.
Well, a little later on 5 News at 5, we're going to be opening our phone lines so that you can tell us your reaction to this morning's terrorist attacks. And we will take you live to several gas stations for a look at today's run on gasoline and what that means. That's straight ahead on your station for local news.
From your station for local news, Burr Edson and Chief Meteorologist Clint Boone. This is 5 News at 5. Sponsored by Hankey Brothers Windows and Siding.
Belief permeated the country when the news of the attack on the World Trade Center surfaced this morning. The only thing you could hear in the Student Center at West Ark College was the sound of televisions. Students, teachers, and Student Center workers sat in shocked silence as today's events unfolded. The campus did not close today, but here are some thoughts of those who watched the disaster unfold.
I was shocked. I'm shaking like now, and it's just terrible. It's
horrible that happened to all these families and innocent people and things like that as well. I mean, it's just going to be very detrimental all around.
I don't think it's accidental at all that 2 planes crashed into the World Trade Center. I feel sorry for all the families that were lost. You know, they lost their loved ones, and this really is my main concern. That was my first thought.
It is happening there, then how we depend on our security.
Anger, concern, and wanting to know what's going on. You don't know who to get angry at. Your concern now is with the people and the lives that have been threatened. I guess a lot of people think it wouldn't happen here. We learn better at Oklahoma City.
Many people we spoke with expressed their patriotism and their confidence in the president to take action against the terrorists responsible for today's attacks. Some federal buildings all across the country shut down this morning, and among them Fayetteville's Federal Building. It closed around noon today, and as a security measure, parts of Mountain Street in front of the building have been blocked off indefinitely. Fort Smith's Federal Building also shut down, but that was shortly after noon. County courthouses throughout the area closed around noon today as well. Coming up, we want to hear from you. We want your reaction to the worst attack on American soil since Pearl Harbor. How should the United States respond? Can America or any country be safe from terrorist attacks? If you have some thoughts or prayers to add to our collective grief, call us right now by dialing our toll-free number, 1-877-527-0885. Your comments on a day that will live in infamy. Next on 5 News at 5. Well, before we go to your phone calls on reaction to today's terrorist attack in Washington, D.C., in Pennsylvania, and also in New York City, permit me as a concerned father to just take a moment to talk to my daughter, Emily, who was at the World Trade Center this morning when the first and the second plane hit. Emily, are you there?
Yeah. Hi, Dad.
Hey, what happened, babe?
Well, I was with my friend Dave, and we were like 8:30 over on the Hudson River, which is the west side river of Manhattan. And we were about to go for a run, and we were procrastinating. And I look at Dave, and his mouth is just agog, and he's pointing south towards where the World Trade Centers are. And I look up and see the back end of an airplane just, I mean, everybody's seen the video, but just crashing through one of the towers. And people just stopped and stared, and mouths were open, and we started running down towards the towers, I guess, to see if we could help or what. And we got probably a quarter of a mile away from the towers, and a second plane then came over our right shoulders from the west, from the Hudson River. Big plane, sort of thick plane, dark, and banked west and started coming north. And I was like, Dave, it's going to the second tower. It's going to the second tower. And they were just so smooth and in control. It was clearly not an out-of-control airplane, and just skidded right into the second tower.
God, it must have been awful. Your reaction, you went down to 14th Street to give blood to see if you could help. Were you able to give blood? How many people have turned out to help in this tragedy?
Well, that's what's been just amazing. I mean, I think we saw what was the worst about us as humans and what was the best also. I mean, the lines to donate blood at the hospitals are insane. They snake around like 5 city blocks. I couldn't even donate. They started turning people away. And people who weren't donating blood had bought bags of bagels and bags of apples and juice, and were just walking the lines and giving food to people. I mean, I was fed better there than I've been the past week. And people in apartments were opening their doors for people who needed to go to the bathroom. And it's really amazing. People are really calm and scared, obviously, and really freaked out, but people are really pulling together. And,
well, we understand that they're going to try to bring 7,000 doctors. They're calling 7,000 doctors in to help. We know Dr. Safari of Fort Smith is actually on the streets at this hour operating on people because there's no other place to go. It must be a mess. All that dust, it really looks like a war zone.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, I'm now sort of like 20th Street, which is further north, and so we aren't getting any of the dust, but you just look down and it's just this puff, and people are streaming up from the southern tip of Manhattan, and there's no way people can get off the island. All the, cabs are down, buses are down, subways down. They've opened some ferry service, but people are just stuck. And people that were in the building in the 2 towers that have collapsed, are just sort of streaming up and just looking sort of vacant.
Well, honey, I'm very glad you're safe, and I know if your mother's listening, she's glad to hear your voice. We'll talk to you later tonight.
All right, Dad.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
We have other people on the phone who want to comment on today's terrorist attack, what the United States should do, what they think about this morning's attacks. Let's go to the phones. First caller, are you there? Van Buren, go ahead, please.
I've got 2 comments. One, I am keeping the families of all the victims and survivors in prayer. And second, I've thought about this all day. They've all been speculating Bin Laden or Saddam Hussein. And I feel like if Saddam Hussein is part of this, we didn't do our job the first go around. I hope this President Bush, we will continue and get him and get the job done this time.
I certainly understand your sentiments. Of course, the first President Bush said that was not our mission. Our mission was simply to get them out of Kuwait. We did that, and if Iraq is somehow responsible for today's attacks, your point is well noted. We have another caller on the line. Alma, go ahead, please.
Hello.
Hey.
Yes, I just wanted to say that my prayers are with everyone. And my opinion of it all is that the end of the world is coming. Everyone should really, really just think really hard about what the Bible says and what God is trying to tell us. There shouldn't be no blame because that's just going to cause more pain and heartache. Thank you.
Thank you. I think your sentiments are shared by many people. We've had a number of calls like that this afternoon. Another caller on the line. Go ahead, please. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I agree with everybody. My prayers are with the family, but I also agree that if they find out who did this, there should be no namby-pamby about it. They should do something, and they should do it wholeheartedly.
What if it's somebody like bin Laden who...
I think they should go in and blow Afghanistan off the face of the earth.
Of course, they're protecting him, and that's always a very real possibility because we've asked for him over and over and over again, and the Taliban have refused to let us have the man who is believed to have been the mastermind of the bombings in Nigeria and other African countries. We have another caller on the line. Go ahead, please. We are waiting for the phone to recycle. Caller, are you there?
Hello?
Go ahead, Greenwood.
Yes. I'm extremely devastated by everything that I've seen today. I have a brother that lives 2 blocks from the World Trade Center who witnessed the second plane. And coming from his mouth to my ears to hear this horror in his voice, the nation needs to really pull together right now. Love your neighbors, love your family. Be grateful for all that we have, but let's not let this get us down. Let's not all run into panic. We just need to get together and help these people in New York and in Washington. And my prayers go out to all these people and to the firefighters and the police department. There in the city, they're doing an awesome job, and I don't think we could ever repay them for what they are going through today. And God bless America. Thank you.
Caller, I don't think anyone could have said it better. Well, we are going to take leave of you for a minute. When 5 News at 5 continues, we're going to be checking in with Chief Meteorologist Clint Boone in the Max 5 Doppler Storm Center for a look at tonight's weather. Chief Meteorologist Clint Boone standing by in the Max 5 Doppler Storm Center. Clint, I haven't paid a bit of attention to the weather today.
You know, the weather has been very nice out there on this somber day in America as we had lots of sunshine in northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. There's a live look at our sky cam from the northwest Arkansas Mall. Just a few high clouds out there. Temperatures this afternoon have been a little bit warmer than yesterday. Let's go ahead and take a look at our currents. 81 degrees. Winds are calm. Relative humidity at 35%. No rainfall for the day. And so far for the month, about 3.5 inches of rain. Here's a live look at our sky cam from Fort Smith. Looking at mostly clear skies. Temperatures this afternoon have topped out pretty similar to Fayetteville in the lower 80s. Currently 82 degrees. East-northeast winds at 6. Humidity at 37%. No rainfall for the day, and so far for the month, about 2.5 inches. Let's check out more temperatures for you. As again, nice and comfortable this afternoon. 82 again in Fort Smith, 83 Russellville, 80 Mena, 81 degrees in Fayetteville. And looking at our national satellite perspective, mostly clear skies across middle America and even across the northeastern United States. So the cleanup operations are going to be going on in New York City and also in Washington, D.C. At least they'll have some good weather for that. But overall, it looks like a tranquil weather pattern for us. Here's a look at our forecast map. For tomorrow, warm and dry conditions across the area. Really nothing in the way of cold fronts for the next several days. In fact, it may not be until Sunday before we see our next chance for some rain. So we'll see a weak cool front push across northern Kansas and northern Missouri, but that should have no bearing on our weather, at least for the next couple of days. So here's a look at our forecast for tonight. Clear skies, cool conditions, light and variable winds. Sun will be setting this evening about 7:30. Overnight lows, nice and cool again into the upper 40s northwest Arkansas, upper 50s River Valley, and then for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies and warm. Light and variable winds. Sunrise tomorrow morning at 6:58. Temperatures similar to today in the lower to middle 80s, and the 5-day forecast for northwest Arkansas shows dry weather, chance for storms on Sunday. I believe right now we need to go to CBS.
Yeah, apparently CBS is reporting something. Let's check in with Dan Rather.
All Broadway shows closed. Thousands of New Yorkers have responded already to the call for blood donations. The American Red Cross is one place accepting blood donations. 1,700 National Guardsmen have been deployed to New York City to back up police, fire, and other city resources. Those are among the facts as we go to the half-hour mark. Now, at the half-hour mark, this half hour, on many of these stations, we will come forward with the CBS Evening News. President Bush is on his way back to Washington and intends to address the American people tonight. Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld will be briefing at the Pentagon. As for what's happening in Kabul, Afghanistan, unclear, but a high-ranking U.S. official has told CBS News he does not, I repeat, not believe there's been any U.S. missile attack on Kabul, Afghanistan, as has been reported by at least one other news organization. There were some explosions in Kabul, and while one reporter on scene said that it was a missile attack, I repeat that one high-ranking U.S. official says he does not believe that that is the case. Now, our CBS News coverage from our worldwide resources will continue in a moment with a special edition of the CBS Evening News, which will be part of our continuing coverage of the attack on America. Sandy, that was just excellent. A stunning and cowardly strike on the United States. Terrorists send mighty skyscrapers crumbling to the ground. Many innocent people are dead. The president vows the killers will